Hi, my love. This is going to be your spirit guide session. For your reading, I was feeling a lot of floral energy for you. Really soft floral energy. So like when I think of flowers, I think of really soft, feminine, delicate, those kind of sensations. So that was the kind of vibration that you were giving off. Like what I mean is when I tap into you guys before I read for you, I like to pick a deck that I feel called to. Sometimes if I don't feel anything, then I'll just use whatever deck I've been working with for previous readings. But for you, I was really feeling flowers. So I pulled some decks that I felt would be really good for that. So one of them is the, oh my gosh, what is this one called? The Harmonious Tarot, I think it's called. So it's really delicate. It's real small because I trimmed it down. So I'll have to make sure I hold it up to the screen so you guys could see it. But the Harmonious Tarot is very florally to me. I pulled my Victorian the Victorian Flower Oracle. Because this one is absolutely 100% flower energy. And I am going to be working with also the Guardian Angel Tarot, which has a very delicate feel to it. So I haven't used this deck in a reading just yet. So it'll be interesting to see how this one reads. But if I don't feel comfortable with it or it just doesn't mesh well, I have backups. So what we're going to do is I want to just kind of tune into your energy, your spirit guides, and see what comes through. But without a doubt, 100%, that flower energy is really heavy with you. So I don't know if you are, like, maybe flowers represent something to you in particular. Some stuff that comes to mind could be, maybe you love gardening. It's relaxing to you. Flowers can represent a certain loved one that's around you. It's also earth vibration, your earth energy. So maybe it's something you were lacking. Maybe you need to be spending some more time outdoors and in nature. That could also be a representation of why the flowers are heavy for you. It could also be this is a delicate time that you're going through. So maybe that's what I'm tapping into, is that you're going through a delicate time and you just kind of need to take it slow. But look, we'll see what the cards say. But as always, when you're watching this video, and if things come to your mind, don't dismiss your thoughts, because that's your own intuition talking to you. So I do my best when I tap in and to deliver the messages, but obviously I'm just here to deliver a message. I'm trying my best not to interpret it too much, because a lot of times when there's mediumship involved, it's because I'm delivering the message, but ultimately it's up to you to decipher what that means for you. You know what I mean? I can interpret it to the way I think it would be, but it might fit you in a different way. Okay, so sitting here tuning in, I could feel a couple guides. Like I feel like there's multiple, and they're women. There's a lot of feminine energy around you. They sit behind you. So because what I'm feeling is that I feel like they came around behind me. They sit behind you and they tend to put their hands over your shoulders, because that's how I'm feeling the sensation of them putting their hands over my shoulders right now. Almost like they're quietly observing what you do, but they don't really try to interfere. That's the vibration I'm feeling, is that they watch what you do, but they're not interfering with your moves, okay? Yeah, I feel like what they're saying, they're not really speaking. They're just, it's like the energy of what I'm sensing is that they're saying, like, they let you do your thing. They're just simply watching. but I want to say there's like 3 or 4 of them. Okay, so we pulled intuition and insight, celebration, 2 of emotion. So that's like the 2 of cups. I'm trying to figure out, like I said, I've never worked with this deck before, so I'm assuming these are the major arcanas. 2 of emotion with the 2 of cups. So, okay. So what could be coming forward here with the spirit guides, intuition and insight, celebration, 2 of emotions or 2 of cups. There could be some big gathering happening soon or some sort of celebration, okay? The first thing I thought of when I heard of celebration is one like a birthday. So there could be a memorable birthday coming up. But the other thing that I'm feeling also is this, they're celebrating something within you. This is like a second, like a second awakening is what I want to say. Almost like they're celebrating the fact that they sense that you are really tuning into communing with them, okay? Like you're sensing more so your guides around you, you're acknowledging them, and the intuition and insight is kind of saying they're showing that your growth with your intuition is there. It's abundantly growing because you are trusting it more. And so that's something to celebrate. So I feel like that's one thing that they're saying, but then also on a more, how do I say this? Like on a more material level or like an earthly plane level, there could be an upcoming celebration of some sort with family or maybe a reunion or an anniversary, something coming up that that might be really important to you. So we have the King of Pentacles, we have the Page of Swords, and we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We have the 10 of Cups coming up. That 10 of Cups is definitely like my family card or my reunion celebration, something big. So there's a gathering coming up with you, okay? That King of Pentacles and the Page of Swords, I feel like what that is kind of saying is just you're going to really have to learn to carry yourself in a stronger way. I don't know, maybe there's some challenging people in your family. Ooh, this wasn't supposed to be in here. A Knight of Peppermills, which is the Knight of Wands. That's funny. That's from a whole different deck. Maybe there's like, you know, maybe you have some challenging family members when when you get to do reunions in some sort, you just don't like to have the eye on you, that kind of thing. I feel like that King of Pentacles is just kind of saying like you really need to own yourself, stand your ground, stay firm, and be proud of the things that you've done. I feel like this is like a card of accomplishment. Being proud of your accomplishments, being proud of where you've been, what you've been doing. It's a time for you to express. It's like a time for you to spend time with family, but at the same time, it's like a time for you to prove to your, not only to them, because you shouldn't have to prove to other people, but to prove to yourself that you are capable of you know, supporting yourself and being successful in that form. Dreams, illusions, skills, crafts, prosperity, revenge. The vibration that I feel with that, to me, is just like, it's almost like this gathering or like being around certain people. You're ready. It's like you're pumped. I feel like your guides are kind of saying that you've come a long way. You're at a point now where you can totally show off. You could show off how much you've been, how much amazingness that has been happening in your life. The dreams and the illusions card coming up is kind of making me feel like in the past, maybe you've had family members or friends or people, whoever this dynamic we're talking about here, that have looked at you as somebody who is always dreaming but never really succeeding with your path. The skills and the craft card popping up is like, this is your ability to utilize what you've been doing, and continue to do that to make amazing things happen in your life. Prosperity is showing abundance coming your way, but also that you've been aligning in a more abundant way in your life. And that's something that you can show off to the family and friends during these get-togethers, these gatherings. And then we have the revenge card, which is kind of funny. That's what made me laugh because I feel like the revenge card is kind of saying that's you seeking out revenge for all of the hardships, all of the doubts and just the negativity that some of the family members have placed upon you. Or I say family, but this could be like friendship circles and whatnot. In doubting your ability to be successful is what I feel. So I kind of feel like that's what's coming through. I feel like that's such a hard, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, like a broad reading, like it's far-fetched. That would really need to be my intuition being on point to be super accurate with that. So I'm really hoping that resonates with you. That's what's coming through. But let's see what else your guides want you to know. Now, with your question, you wanted to know with your guides what they have to say to you about your spiritual practice. Now, when we look at it in that aspect with those cards that I just pulled, I feel like it's a message of confidence, okay? So I feel like maybe they're showing that example, and perhaps it will actually come true where you will have some sort of get together, and it'll be a test for you to truly come forward about what you're doing, or just at least feel more confident in yourself about your path. So I feel like that's one thing that Spirit is saying with your spirituality, is to be more confident in your practice and in your works. So let's see what else they have to say. We have a new beginning, the Fool card. We have the Healer of Thought, which I'm going to assume this is like the Queen of Swords. They're not listed that way. This is a different deck. Go Within. It's totally, what's it called? High Priestess. I actually kind of dig this deck though. Four of Thoughts, Four of Swords, Two of Cups again, the Ace of Wands. I love it. Okay. So first off, your guides are really encouraging you to connect more with them, okay? This is the second time that Two of Emotion card came up, that Two of Cups. So they're really urging you to do more to connect with them. They want to talk to you. Their support systems, they're not here to dictate to you because they, like I said, I feel like they just kind of like to look over your shoulders. But they're here to say, new beginnings, Healer of Thought, go within. You're really tuning into your intuition more. And that was the other message in the previous reading I just did. But the new beginning is kind of saying it's a second awakening. And that's the second time I feel like I needed to say that to you. You've already gone through your initial awakening, which brought you into this whole realm of, card reading and your spirituality and however you choose to do it. But I feel like there's another awakening happening, and this is the one where you really tap in not only to your guides, but also your own personal intuition and mediumship, okay? Going within is also telling me that it's the High Priestess card, and I feel like going within is saying you need to dig in deep. They're saying you need to dig in deep, trust your intuition. And when I say trust your intuition, it's easier said than done. But when you're trusting your intuition, you are literally trusting the initial thought that first pops into your mind. Anything that sticks out to you that your mind says, is that a sign? Yes, it's a sign. When you start to trust those things and you believe in it and you make your decisions on a day-to-day based on those intuitive hits, it will happen more often. And that's like the kind of thing I try to teach people, is that it happens more often the more you trust it. So I feel like that's what is taking place here. Healer of Thought, the fact that the Healer of Thought is termed as a healer, makes me feel like you have that Reiki energy. I'm into Reiki. I love it. I'm still I need to do my second certification, but I feel like that's a path for you. I feel like your thoughts, your intuition is a healing mechanism. But when you distribute that into your hands and your ability to use energy healing to help others, I think that's a route for you to take. Also the fact that I was feeling a lot of flower sensation for you, herbs, okay? That just popped into my own right now. herbs, using herbal remedies, creating with herbs, okay? Whether it's soaps and lotions or sprays or things that you can use alongside your spiritual practice. If you're already a crafty person like that, and you know, you already know how to make candles and make those things, I feel like that's a route for you to take, is to add in using herbs more in your practice, okay? And then we have like the Ace of Action, the Ace of Wands. I feel like that's like your guides are saying you need to start doing things. You need to start taking action with your craft. Stop thinking about it, because what happens here is we have the thought and the Four of Thoughts. The Four of Thoughts is all about like you're carefully contemplating your next move. You're doing a lot of meditating, and a lot of just a lot of thinking things through. You overthink is what I feel Spirit wants you to know. But there needs to be action. And that's why I feel like that Ace of Wands here that I pulled is like saying you need to take action now. You've done a lot of thinking. It's time to take action. We have friendship, we have games, and we have shelter and retreat. I love it. So I feel like they're saying to have fun. Have fun with your spiritual practice. The games card could be, we have, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. 10 of Pentacles. We just pulled that one for you. I feel like your guides like want the same stuff to come up. Build a community with the friendship. Building a new community. That makes sense. Shelter and retreat. They could be showing shelter and retreat. Sorry, I'm like thinking out loud. They could be showing shelter and retreat in terms of when you build a new community and new friendship with people. It's your ability to be more yourself. So I don't know, love, if your spiritual practice is something that you can't come out in the open with 100%. And maybe that's why the first message was being able to come out a little bit more with family, in the next major gathering you guys have. But maybe you can't. Maybe you feel like you can't be open about your spirituality. And so they may be saying, open your community, like go searching for people who are of like-minded interest in the things that you do. And shelter and retreat is like kind of saying it's your safe haven. When you have people that you can commune with who are on the same level, doing the same things, it's a shelter and retreat thing for you versus, feeling like you're out in the open and like having people just come at you about every little thing that you decide to do. 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords. I wish these had numbers on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of Wands. Don't give up. Rebuilding. 3 of Swords. So yeah, I feel like it's like you've come from difficulties of not being completely happy with your path. Your spiritual practice is growing. You're going through a second awakening. I do feel like there's a shift with your mediumship happening. And I also feel like adding herbs to the practice that you do will be very beneficial. You're still in the building phase though, because that 3 of Pentacles card to me is about you're still in the process of rebuilding, recreating. Nothing is set in stone with what you're doing, and that's okay. The 9 of Wands is saying like be vigilant and keep doing what you do, even if you don't have a big support system, which that 3 of Swords kind of makes me feel. There's been some recent disappointments. Maybe on your end, like being disappointed in other people because they just don't care to understand where you're coming from with your path. I also feel inclined to say like your spirituality is a very lonely journey, and I feel like at times you do feel lonely about it. But I also feel like ultimately it has to be that way. For some reason, Spirit is making me feel like your path needs to be lonely for a reason. It helps you take it seriously. But I also feel like your guides want you to know that you need to also, as much as it's been a lonely process, they also want you to know that you can grow your community to have more of a support system. I feel like they need to say that too. So I gotta know, love, like if you remember to send me an email Let me know how this resonates with you, if it does. Because I feel like there's been some stuff that has been said that is super like, it's real, you know, a real particular message, and I just want to make sure it makes sense. How do the flowers, like, what was that all about? Tell me, I would love to know. Also, you know, how do you feel about Reiki energy healings? How do you feel about working with herbs? You know, is this something that you've ever done before? Is it something that you're interested in? Because that was coming in strong for you. It's always hard for me to read with a new deck that I haven't worked with yet, but I'm actually really glad that I pulled this one out because it totally felt right for you. Six of Action, the Healer of Emotions, Ace of Emotions. So I feel like what's happening here is once you're taking action and once you are actually doing things that you're supposed to be doing and you're actually moving, because like I said, Spirit has, like your guides were saying, you need to start turning your thoughts into action. You're going to start seeing the heart flow. You're going to start seeing that you're working straight from the heart chakra. And when you're working straight from the heart chakra, you're literally embracing your passions. So I feel like that's what your guides are saying is as soon as you take action and start physically manifesting the things that your mind has been creating, you're going to start seeing the passion flow. It's like a life purpose, fulfilling that life purpose, okay? So I feel like that's also what your guides are saying. We have 5 of Cups coming up. We have, what is this? I put 11. What is 11? I think that's Hangman. And then we have the 4 of Pentacles. He's the 11 card. He's looking, it's like the beast is looking straight into the mirror. Taking inventory on yourself. I would feel like that's what that card is saying. 5 of Cups is the regrets. 5 of Cups is regrets. So I feel like what that's saying is if you don't take action, like your guides are saying, if you don't take action and do actually make something of the thoughts, the mind, what you have going on in your mind, there will be regrets. And it's like facing the fears head on. I feel like that's what that card is saying. Facing your fears head on, facing your reality. And then we have the 4 of Pentacles. I feel like that's kind of saying like the amount of work that you're willing to put into this, you're going to start seeing it pile up. You're going to start seeing the abundance happen. So I feel like this is a call to really put into action what your purpose is all about. And you know what your purpose is because you're going to be feeling called for that. And like I said, we can have multiple awakenings in our journey. Multiple awakenings. So just because you had the one initial one doesn't mean that that's over. It's you will have more. And I feel like that's what your guides are saying is let's get into the next awakening process, which is you actually physically doing more than just what you've been doing so far. Okay. This concludes your reading, my love. I apologize if it seemed a little bit too jumbled. Sometimes I tend to think out loud when I'm connecting, so that's what's happening. But I hope for the most part you were able to get the message. And I would love to hear from you if you have any insights for me as to the things that I said. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, my love.